Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Yasser Ahmed. So in this video we will continue paper 2 from the ICT IGCSE course. We are doing October-November 2020 paper. Paper 2 is a practical paper which is 2 hours and 30 minutes long. So if you check out the previous video, I've completed the document production part of this video and we're now going to be doing data manipulation, which is databases. So let's go down to page 6. Okay, so the first thing I've done already is I've set up a new database file in my source folder. So all I did was I right-clicked, went to new and selected Microsoft Access Database. So we have the database ready. Okay, so task 3 database. You are now going to prepare some reports using a suitable database package. So I'm using Microsoft Office Access. Okay, we're going to be importing the first CSV file, so N220 score, and we're going to use these field names and data types shown below as well. Okay, so something to watch out for is this field here. It needs to be formatted to 2 decimal places. So when we import, it's going to be imported as a double, and then in design view later we can change it to 2 decimal places. Okay. And there's no boolean field here as well, so we're not changing a boolean on import as well. The next thing is the race underscore number field will be set as a primary key, as this will contain a unique piece of data for each record. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's import. So if you're importing on a different version of Access, you may click on external data and click on text file here somewhere. But I'm going to be clicking on new data source, from file, text file. And then you need to browse and select your source data or the CSV file here. Okay, so N220 score. Press OK. Next. When you get to this point here, tick on first row contains field names. So these are field names here. Last name, first name. And then each row is a record. The next thing to do is click on Advanced. Check the date order is in the correct format, so day, month and year, and then we can check the data types. So the first 3 fields should be text. Yep, text, text, text. Age is going to be number. Yep, so integer. And kilometers is going to be a decimal, will contain decimals. So double is right. Let me double check. Yep, so if a field is going to contain decimals, it's initially going to be set as double. For position and score and race, we have numbers again, and these are going to be integers, whole numbers, which is fine. And then we have the cat code, which is text, and then the distance in kilometers will be a number again. Okay, so integers, so that's fine. So if the data type contains whole numbers, it's going to be set as integer. If the data type is going to contain decimal numbers, then we'll leave it as double. Okay, so at this point there was nothing to change, it was just worth checking. Next, next. Now we can choose the primary key, and the primary key is going to be race number field. So this field here, let's double check. Yes. Okay, so you can see each value is different for each record. Next and finish. Open up your table and let's change the formatting of this field so it's formatted as 2 decimal places. So remember, the kilometer underscore hour field is going to be formatted. So if you go to home, design view, click on that field, leave the field size as double. Then for decimal places, click on 2. Let's double check if that's worked. We still have 1 decimal place for this example here. So what we need to do now is click on Format and select Standard. And you can see we have 2 decimal places. Okay, so that's the first table imported with no mistakes. Save the data. We're going to be importing 2 more tables. Okay, so the next table is going to end in club. So let's just close down this table here. Again, the same steps. So external data, new data source, text file, browse, select the CSV ending in club. and it looks like all of the fields are going to be text. So again, first row contains field names. Go to advanced. Apart from club position, as you can see, that's changing 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. Check the date, month and year. Yep, that's fine. Next. Do we have a primary key? Set the club code field as a primary key. So choose my own primary key. We're going to choose club code. Okay, next. Finish. And we can have a look at this table here. There's nothing to change. The formatting's fine. Done. And finally, we're going to import the last CSV file. So again, external data, new data source, text file, browse, and we're going to select, is it group? Yeah, let me just highlight. This is done, group. And we're going to set the group code as the primary key. So again, I'm just looking at the data. It looks like it's text. So first row contains field names. It's all text. So it's nothing to check here really. Yeah, all text. There's no dates as well, so that's fine. Next. Choose my own primary key, and we're going to go with group code. Okay. Finish. So we have 3 tables imported. You can open them all up, and there's no import errors. So we can carry on now. So let's carry on. Actually, before we do carry on, we need to take an evidence screenshots now. So place in your evidence document screenshots showing the primary keys, field names and data types used in all 3 tables. So this is evidence 5. So let's start with the first table. So if we go to design view, I'm going to click on this field here to show the formatting. And let's take the first screenshot. So we can see the field names, the data types and the formatting for the kilometers field. Let me paste this into the evidence document. So that's my first print screen. We now need to take a print screen of the second table. We'll do it in order as shown in the exam paper. So we can go to club, design view. Okay, let's take a screenshot. We didn't change anything here, so that will do. Okay, and finally the group table. Okay, let's paste the screenshot. Save the changes. Done. So make sure your screenshots are nice and clear. You can see this is the end score table. What I'm going to do, actually, I've just realized I've cropped off the top part. Actually, no, I didn't crop off. I didn't snip the top part. So we can see this is a group table. I'm just going to take a screenshot again of this table here. Okay, so make sure you include the name of the table as well. So we've got the club table. Copy. Okay, so we've got the club table, we've got the group table, and we've got the score table sorted. If you want to put space in between, you can do. And we can also see the primary keys have been created as well. So club code, group code, and race number as well. Okay, done. Evidence finished. So make sure you are evidencing all 3 tables. Now it's time to create the relationship. So to create the relationship between all 3 tables, make sure the tables have been shut down. Click on database tools, and then relationships, and add all 3 tables. So you can click on each table, double click. Okay, and expand the table so we can see all of the fields. Just going to move that into the middle. Okay, so we can see each table has a primary key. which will be used as part of the relationship. So create a one-to-many relationship as a links between the following tables. Okay, so it's going to be the club code field in the club table. So we're going to focus on this field first, which is going to be linked to the club code field in the scores table. So yeah, this is the score table. So we basically drag from the primary key to the foreign key. We want to create this relationship. It's going to be one-to-many. Great. And let's do the same thing here. So the group code in the group table, which is this field here, which is going to be linked to the cat code in the scores table. Again, it's going to be a one-to-many relationship. Job done. Okay, so what we need to do next is we need to take a screenshot or multiple screenshots, okay, showing the type of relationships between the three tables. So the first screenshot I'm going to take is going to be this screenshot here. Okay, and this is evidence 6. So these are all very typical screenshots you take in Access for databases. But the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on this line here, take a print screen of this relationship type, so it shows the two fields from the two different tables and is one-to-many. Okay, copy. And double click here. Let's take a screenshot. So this is the second relationship that we created. Okay, so group code to cat code and club code to club code from two different tables. So make sure your print screens are nice and clear. If you want to put spaces in between, you can do. Let me save the changes. Okay, so we've done that. That's okay. So now if you close the relationship icon, you can see we have the relationships created now. So this is a one-to-many relationship. Okay, so one club has many records, as you can see. Okay, one group also has many records as well. Okay, right, save the changes and we can continue with question 22. So now we're going to enter a new piece of data. So enter the following details as a new record in the scores table. Okay, so the scores table is this one here, and to add a new record, sometimes they may ask you to create a form, but in this case we're just going to come down to the very bottom and we're going to add a new record here. So since I have the paper, I can copy and paste, but obviously you guys will have to type this information in exactly as it appears. So last name, first name Susan, and then let me type in the club code. Age is 24, so let me just type in 24. For the age, kilometer underscore hour is going to be 4.05. Position is going to be 2. I think the score was 125. Let me double check the score again. Score's fine. Race number is 1476. FE and then 50. And then distance is 50. So let me double check. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, save. And normally when we do add a new record, it's going to show up in a report later. So something to look out for later. You can double check the table again. If you go to the very bottom, it may not show at the bottom now. It may show somewhere else, but yeah, it's definitely been added. If you want to find it again, so if I click on first name, text filter contains Susan. There we go. Yeah, we have that particular field. Clear the filter. Right, done. Okay, we're now moving on to the first report question. Okay, so before we look at this question, what I'm going to do now is go back to my website and go through the database PDF. So if you come to my website, and then if you click on this little tab here, so the website address is up here, yahmad.co.uk. Paper 2, so you click on this little tab, Paper 2, and then if you look at the data manipulation access PDF, you can see what we do in a query, and then you can see the things that we do in a report. Okay, so this question right now is all muddled up, it's not in any sort of order, so we need to work out what we do first. So before we can make the report, we have to do the query. So let me just scroll down on this PDF. So here it's a typical exam question, and you can see the exam questions being annotated. So we have query tasks, and then we have the report task. So at the start, the first thing that we're going to do with any query report question is we're going to create a new query by clicking on Create Query Wizard, and we're going to select the fields as shown in the question paper. So in this question paper here, we have these fields here. If you look at the next question, you can see again we have to create a query selecting these fields here. Once you've selected the fields, okay, let's go back to the PDF. The next thing is to find the title that's going to be at the top of the report, and also label your query with the same title. Okay. Then the next step is to enter the search criteria. So we may have to filter the records using lots of different search criteria. Okay, so you can see the example here. So not Lumia 525, Nokia or Apple for the brand, and extras including 5 megapixel. And sometimes you can hide particular fields that you're searching for. Every time you do search or enter a search criteria, the number of records should reduce. And also in a query we can create, so here it's actually the different search criteria which we're going to be using and looking at. And in the query we also can create calculated fields. So this is a query, so let's focus on the query first, and then we'll look at the report tasks in a moment. So before you answer the questions, you should be annotating the query parts of the question. So select the fields, the title, the search criteria, and a new calculated field. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a query. So if you click on Create, select Query Wizard, press OK, and select the fields. So we need to select last name, first name. Okay, gender, age and race, number. So where's gender? It must be in another field, not in that field. Yep, gender, age and race, number. Okay, kilometers, hour, and then distance. And then club name, position, club name, and is it club position, sorry, club name, only position. So, whoops, let me just, so don't get confused with this field here. We need to go back to the score table, position, and the final field, total time, is the one we're going to create up here. So we can't add it until it's been created. And then when you get to this point here, guys, always enter the title that's going to be shown at the end of on the report as well. So, and when you are entering a title, make sure you include capital letters and you're not making any spelling mistakes. Okay, finish. So here's the query, and you can see we have 773 records. Okay, so once you've done that, if we go back to the website and a PDF, the next thing we're going to be doing is entering our search criteria to filter the data. So we can use all of these different types of criteria to filter the data. So less than or more than. If you want to find multiple values, we can use or. If you want to exclude a value, we can write not. If you're searching between numbers or dates, you can use this method here, between the date and the second date, or the first number and the second number. If you want to find something that contains a value, you can use the stars as well. And also you can find something beginning with a value or ending with a value as well. Okay, so let's go back to the question paper and have a look. So the club name includes the text MTB. So where's the club name here? So we basically need to find anything that contains MTB. Okay, so if I go to the top, I'm just scrolling down. You can see we have MTB here in the middle. Here again. And we have MTB at the start. So basically, the mistake some people would do or could make is if you come to club name and you simply type in MTB and click on run, and you can see there's no fields that contains only MTB. So what you do is you write MTB. Sorry, let me say that again. There's no fields that are only just MTB. So MTB is part of the club name. So what you need to do is use the star. So and then type in MTB and then star. So what this will do is basically we'll find anything within a club name that contains MTB. So we have MTB in the middle again, at the end, and at the start. Okay, so the next search criteria is age is 20 or more. So we can use greater than or equal to 20. So age greater than or equal to 20. Double check the age. Yeah, we don't see anything less than 20. That's fine. We're now down to 64 records, and the distance is going to be 50 or 75. So we can, on this field it's going to be either 50 or 75. So if we go to the distance, we can simply write 50 or 75. So one or the other. Yep, perfect. And now we have 40 records. Okay, so we've basically finished with the search criteria. The next thing that we can do in a query is to create a new field. So let me go back to this example here. So here we've created a new field called new stock level. So you can see we do it in the design view. And the new stock level, the name is followed by a colon. And if we're using an existing field, we need to put the existing field into square bracket. So current stock. And then what we want to do is to add 5 to the current stock. Okay, so to create your new field, we will go to design view, get rid of this, and we'll create a new field here. So let's have a look at the question. So the new field is called total time. So you can see I've got the name of the new field up here, followed by colon. So it contains a new field called total time, which is calculated at runtime. This field will multiply km underscore hour by distance underscore km. So you'll notice both of these are italic, and that tells you that they're both fields. Km and distance, yes, they're both fields. Okay, so since they're both fields, you're going to put km underscore hour into square brackets, and that's going to, this field will multiply. So for some reason I've done divide up here. Let me see if I can change this. I actually can't edit this anymore. Yeah, we can. Let me change that. Yeah. So the km underscore hour is going to be multiplied by the distance underscore km field. Both of these are placed into square brackets, and then this will be divided by 1440. So This formula is basically includes three parts. You've got the name, you've got the fields that we're going to be using, which are in square brackets, and then we have this extra part. So basically it's going to be this multiplied by this field and then divided by this number here. Okay, format this field to display the time as hours, minutes and seconds. That's something we'll do in a second, but what I'll do first of all is to copy and paste this into Access here. And if I just scroll across, you can see the name of the new field, including underscore, so don't forget underscore, then the colon, and then the first field which has been placed into square brackets, multiplied by the second field which has also been placed into square brackets, then divided by this number here. If we click on run, you can see we have some values, but the next thing that we need to do is format this into the time format. So you can click on here and property sheet, and the format is going to appear like this. So hours, whoops, let me zoom in, and I'm just simply going to copy and paste this. Hours, 2 characters for hours, 2 characters for minutes, and then 2 characters for seconds. And then what we can do is basically paste that into the format here, or you can enter it. I know that the minutes has changed to N, but that's fine. If you click on run, you can see now the total time is displayed in a time format. Okay, so I think we've finished all of the tasks with the query. Let me double check. I'm just going to highlight all of the tasks that we've finished so far. So let me just highlight this. So it's really useful to annotate your question paper, so you can see I've annotated the formula before I entered the formula. We've got the field selected, that's fine. Okay, so now what we do is the report task, and this is how the data is going to be represented. So if I go back to the PDF, in a report task, guys, actually before we move on to the report task, on the PDF I've got some examples of the calculated fields. Okay, so in the first example, the name of the new field is called total births, including the underscore. Then you got the colon, and then it's basically going to be this field here, you can see it's italic, plus this field here. So both fields have been separated and placed into their own brackets. Then we have this second example, daily cost, which is again the name of the new field with the underscore, colon, and then it's basically course cost divided by duration. And again, you can see both of these fields are italic, so that tells you it's a field, and they're both been placed into square brackets. Okay, and then delivered price is the name of the next field, colon. Okay, then cost price, you can see it's italic, so that tells you it's going to be a field, and we're adding 200. So 200 is not a field, so just like the example we've done today, if it's not a field, you don't need to place it within square brackets. Okay. Right, so let's look at what we do in a report now. So in a report, we can have a sort. You can select the orientation of the page. You can make everything fit to a page. Okay, you can include headers and footers. So you have lots of different headers. Okay, you have the page header and a report, or the report header and a report footer, and then you have the page header and the page footer, and I'll talk about this in a moment once we get to the report. The main thing that we have to do in a report is to make sure all of the data is fitting and in the right order. So obviously you can see hashtags, so the data is not being shown in full. So we'll be fixing the report in a moment, and we can also do some calculations in the report as well. Okay, right, so let's go back to the exam question. Let's save the query, and let's now go to the report wizard. Select the fields, including now total time. Make sure it's not grouped. So yeah, that's fine. Yeah, do not group the data. If the data is shown like this, it's going to be grouped by gender or club name. So make sure the data is not grouped in any order. Next, next. Okay, so what we now need to look at is the sort. So sort the data into ascending order of club name. I'm going to change the color of this now to green for the report. So ascending order of club name. Okay, and ascending order of position. So we can select position, ascending. Next. Okay, so we've done that as well. Page orientation is going to be landscape. So we can select landscape. Next. The title's disappeared, so what we can do is copy and paste the title back in again. Sometimes the title will stay, sometimes it will disappear, so make sure you are putting the title back in again. Make sure there's no spelling mistakes. And if you finish, you can see we have the report. So not all the data is fitting right now, so you can see it's not fitting to a single page. We still need to format the title in a second, and we need to also include some details in the footer of the report so it appears on every page. But before we do anything, let's put the fields back in the right order. Now, because we've done a sort on a club name and position, you'll notice these are the first fields. But what we can do is we can go to layout view, get rid of this, and we can basically move the fields back into the right order. So I'm going to move these fields across. So select the title, press Control on your keyboard, and then move the data across. Okay, so what I'm doing is basically making space at the beginning to move the fields into the right order. Okay, so what we have first of all was last name and first name. Okay, I'm just going to highlight these two as I move them. So last name. Double check to see no data has been cut off. Yep, so this bottom one, the data has been cut off, so that must have been the longest word or name. Yeah, first name and then last name. I can move that across. Double check again at the very bottom. Yep, so we just need to move this across. I'm just going to drag it slightly. Okay, so we obviously had overlap here, so overlap's gone now. I'm just checking to see if the names are all appearing in full. Perfect. So after last name, first name, then we have gender, age, and race number. So we'll do all three together. I'm just going to move these ones across. I'm using the keys on my keyboard now just to move them across. And then gender is the next one. Age is the next field. Okay, race number is the next field. Okay, let me just scroll down, see if all of the data is shown in full so far. Yeah, it looks fine. So after race number, we have kilometer and then distance. So again, we can move these ones across. I'm just using the keys on my keyboard. Okay, and I'm also going to move these ones across as well. So after distance, what do we have? Is it club name? Yeah, club name, position and total time. Can move this one across slightly. Yeah, make sure you're not cutting off any of this information here. So cycling must be, is that the longest one? Yeah. Position, we can just move it across slightly. And then finally we are done with total time. So guys, what you need to do now at this point is check on print preview. You can zoom out. You want to check first of all, is all of the data fitting one page across? Like this, and I think it is. So the names, the first name, gender, age, race number, kilometers, distance, club name, position, and total time. So it can be many pages tall, but all of the data needs to fit across according to the question paper. So we've got that sorted. The next thing that we need to do is we need to format the title. So it's going to be black, 30 points in a serif font. So if we go to design view, we can highlight the title, go to home, change the size to 30. You can select Times New Roman. We can change the color to black, and then what you may have to do is just move this box down and then just move this across like this. Okay, so that's sorted. Okay, I'm just checking, and your name, centre number and candidate number appears in the footer of the report, so it appears on every page. So guys, what we have here is we have the report header and a report footer. If you include, so to include a label, you go to design and then you click on this icon here. If you write something here, it's going to appear on the first page. So let's just do an example. So there's my name. If I go to print preview, you can see it's just appeared at the top and it's not appeared anywhere else. Okay. If I move that to the report footer, let me see if I can just drag that down here. Print preview, you'll see there's no name now at the top, but a name appears at the bottom. Okay. Now, what if you want to include something in every page or every so in a page header or page footer? So if you want to include something in the page footer, you need to move or write something here, so page footer. So what that basically means, if it's in a page footer, it's going to appear on every single page in the footer. So yeah, so we need to include in the footer. Okay. If you wanted to include something on every page, what you could do is, let me just go to page header. You can move all of these fields down, and then you can write a label above these fields here. So for example, if I just move this like this into the page header, what that means is my name now appears on every page. You can see at the top. Okay. I'm going to move this back down to the page footer. I'm going to just push all of these back up again. For some reason gender was a little bit higher than the others. Okay, and what do we need to include in the footer? So name, centre number and candidate number in the footer of the report, so it appears on every page. So we're going to place this here. So my name, centre number 5678, so I'll use that for my centre number, and then candidate number 1234. If I go to print preview, you can see my name, candidate, centre number and candidate number appears here, and it also appears on this page here. Okay, so let me just double check if everything is right. You can see this name is fitting in, the times being formatted properly, the kilometers appears as 2 decimal places. Now remember, we added a new record. I think the person is called Susan. So let me just see if Susan, yeah, here we are. Can you see? Let me zoom in. So now this has also been shown up in this report, and that typically will be a mark as well. So Susan Flatter. Okay, so before we move ahead, I forgot to mention, obviously, you have to print off the report. So when you are printing off, make sure your name, centre number, candidate number appears on your report. So check the print preview, and when you do print, always check your, let me just go back to print preview. When you have printed and you have your printout in front of you, always check for the common mistakes. So first of all, your name should be on every page in the footer. Check the title if it's been spelt properly. If you use capital letters, it's been formatted properly. Check to see if check to see if the fields are in the right order, and all of the data is shown in full. There's no names or data cut off. Okay. Check to see if the kilometers was formatted to decimal places and the time has been formatted to hours, minutes and seconds. Once you're happy, then we can go ahead and we can move on to the next question. Okay, so the next question again is another query and report question. You can see I've annotated the question, so I've highlighted what we're doing in query in this color here, and then in the report the green colors. So again, we're going to create a new query using these fields here, and then we're going to enter the search criteria. And obviously, after you created the query, you're going to also include a title. Now, since we've finished the first query, it's useful to label your query with the same title, because we now know this one matches up to this query matches up to this report. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a new query wizard. That's okay. Make sure you select your fields from the table shown. So position, first name, last name. So let me go to end scores. So position, first name, last name from that table. Club name, country. Club name, country. And then distance, km. Next, when you get to this point here, always include a title that's going to be appearing at the top of your report. So this is title here. I can copy and paste. Obviously you guys will have to type this in, so make sure there's no spelling mistakes. Finish. Once you get to this point, the next thing is to enter the search criteria. So again, check how many we start off with. We have 773 records to begin with, and the position is going to be 1. So actually, before we go to the design view, we're going to be searching on this field just for 1. Yeah, so position is going to be 1. Let me change the color of this back to, okay. So we just type in 1 for the criteria, click on run, and we are now down to 42 records. Okay, all of these are 1s. The next thing that we need to search for is county. I think I might have said country before, but it's actually county. Does not include Kent. So you can either write it like this, not Kent, or the less than or more than signs. I think it's just easier to write not Kent. So the county, if I type in not Kent, you can see the speech marks automatically appear. And we're now down to 35 records. So you can check to see if you see Kent in the county, and obviously no, we don't. Okay, so we've done this part as well, so I can highlight this, done as well. We're now ready to move on to the report. So this question is actually a lot more easier than the first question. So create report wizard, save the changes, select all of the fields from this query here, winning club members, and make sure nothing's grouped. So if this was selected as table, then it would be grouped. Obviously we want to make sure the fields or data is not going to be grouped. Yep, do not group the data. Okay, next, and we have a sort. So sort the data into descending order of county. And remember, this field becomes the first field in the report, so we'd have to move it back into the right position. The page orientation is going to be portrait, so we can keep this as portrait. We need to put the title back in, so if I paste it again, it should, yeah, it's the same. Finish. And you can see the data is not fitting to one page going across. So it's not fitting on a single page actually going across or down as well right now. So county should be the second to last field. So what we need to do, let's click on close. If we go to layout view, I need to move this field maybe just over here. Okay, so position is the first field, and all of the positions should be 1. Okay, then we have first name, So remember guys, I'm pressing first of all on a heading, and then I'm pressing Control on my keyboard to select the data, and then we're moving it across. So after the last name, actually let me double check to see if all of the data is shown in full. So you can see just want to double check if nothing's been cut off here, so let's move this one across. Gabriel, I think that, let me just move this one across again. I think there should be nothing else after that. Yeah, that's fine. So after last name, what do we do next? Club name, county. Okay, make sure data's not cut off. Okay, and you can see we have a sort on the county, descending order, and this is the last field. Okay. Right, so all of the data is in the right order. Data and labels displayed in full. The title's all correct now. What we just need to do with the title is, it's not letting me highlight it, but anyway, displayed in a larger font size, fully visible at the top of the page. Yeah, the title is already in a larger font. If you want to make it a bit bigger, you can do if you go to design view. And then you can highlight the text, and you go to home and you can increase the size. So let's just make it 22 for example. Okay, there we go. Right, so that's that done. Okay, this question here, we need to calculate the average distance and position this under the distance kilometers field, and then it's going to be formatted as an integer. So we need to go to layout view. We need to click on this column here because we need to work out the average distance. So if we go to design totals, we click on average, and you can see we have the average down here, but it's not formatted as an integer. So you can go to property sheet, change the decimal places to 0, and then format to standard. Where's standard? Here we go. So 51. Okay, so that's that done, and has a label average race distances. Okay, so make sure you include a capital A, and the rest of it is lowercase. So this label is going to go to the left of the value of 51. So we can go into design view, you can go into design, labels, and to the left you can enter this label. So make sure there's no spelling mistakes. Okay. You can check the print preview. Yep, so we got this label here to the left. Okay, has your name, center number, and candidate number on the report. Okay, so it doesn't say anywhere, so let's put, yeah, we can just put this at the top somewhere. So if we go back into design view, and then we can add a label. So it's normally your name, center number, so I'll go with 5, 6, 7, 8, candidate number 1, 2, 3, 4. Obviously in the exam you make sure you include your details. Right, and then once you've done all that, we can go ahead and we can print off the report. Again, when you print a report, let me just go into design view first of all. Check to see if the title is correct, your name's somewhere on the page, the fields in the right order, the data is shown in full, nothing's cut off, the sort has worked on county, all fits to one page across, and in this example 1 page, so we should only have 1 page. Okay, so I think I'm happy with that. Yep. So for evidence 7, we need to place into your evidence document a screenshot of the formula used in a database to calculate the average distance. So the next thing we need to do is take a screenshot of this formula here, copy, go into Word, evidence 7, and we can make this a little bit bigger, so make sure you're showing this formula in full. Save. Whoopsie daisy, let's go back and save your database. Okay, so what we have so far is we have 2 queries and 2 reports. Before we can get to these reports, remember we have to create the queries, and now you can see we have 2 titles for the queries. So this one links to this report, and then this one links to this report here. So that's why it's useful to label your queries when you're creating them with the same title that's going to be at the top of your report. Okay, so finally guys, we've come to the end of this section. Let me see if I can change the colour of my pen. Back to amber. Back to amber. Now for question 25, and I think this is the last question. Yeah, it is. Export the report created in step 24 into a PDF format. Okay, so this was the last one. So winning club members, and save the exported file with an appropriate file name into your work area. So to export, you simply right click on the report you want to export. You go to export, select PDF, go to your source folder, click on publish and close. And for the evidence, we just need to take a screenshot to show the file has been saved into your work area. So if I go to my source folder, you can see here's a PDF. Show the file type, okay. We can copy this into evidence. Is it 8? Yes, it is. Okay, and then we save the evidence document. Okay guys, we have come to the end of the database section in this paper. Probably the hardest part of paper 2. But if you follow the steps shown in this video, we're basically doing the same thing for any query or report questions. So if you need any help with the query report questions, knowing what to do first, you can refer to this PDF here. So if you come to my website, yahmad.co.uk, click on this tab here, paper 2. You can check out this link here, or you can check out these little videos as well. Part 2 goes through queries and reports, or you can click on this PDF and you can go through this content here. You can have a look at the other content, the other slides if you wish. If you want to focus on queries and reports, you can come down to slide 23 or 22 and then move on from there. Okay guys, thank you for watching this video. Please drop your comments below. Please like and share the channel. And good luck in your exams. Take care. Bye bye.